Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Alex, and iPhone SE is here. So Apple took a step down this year after companies like OnePlus have been taking steps up and getting towards the flagship market range. And what's been called the Frankenstein phone, the parts bin phone, the special edition phone is finally here. It's $400, and it's pretty much the cheapest and most important phone Apple has released within the past years. So this phone came out on Friday, and I've had it for a couple days, so I've gotten a nice amount of usage out of it throughout the weekend and throughout the beginning of this week, and it all started with the unboxing. Everything is very familiar. You pop the lid open, you're greeted with the documentation, which in my case mentions the product red charity information, quick start guide, ejector tool, and stickers. By the way, random thought. Apple should color match these stickers with the color of the model you choose. That would be pretty sweet. But other than that, we have our product red iPhone SE. With a glossy black front and those innovative Apple EarPods with a 5-watt charger. Right off the bat, I noticed how light and compact the phone was. And this is coming from someone who uses the beefy iPhone 11 Pro Max as my daily driver. This instantly made me realize how big today's phones have gotten and how straight up pocket friendly the new SE is. So carrying this around commando style without a case has been pretty sweet. And have I mentioned that the product red edition's color is seriously awesome? It's also very familiar. The body is much like the older counterpart of the iPhone 8. The aluminum bands, forehead, and chin bezels are back. Yeah, it's not a new design. I'm sure you already knew that though. So Touch ID is also back. The logo was also lowered from kind of the top of the phone to the middle now to match the newer iPhones. And the speakers also seem to be unchanged. The design is old school. I mean, can we call this old school? What is this, like 3 years old now, about? Anyways, there's no double tap to wake anymore, which is something I've gotten used to with the modern smartphone panels nowadays. So having to just use a home button for unlocking the phone instead of gestures had a slight learning curve of getting used to it again. Nothing insane, it just took some time getting used to having a home button instead of swiping, you know what I mean? It kind of reminded me of when the iPhone X came out and everyone had to learn the new gestures and ditch the home button. It's kind of that way now, but backwards. That really shouldn't be a problem though. I would assume that a lot of people jumping on this phone are coming from something older or possibly budget Android phones. Other than that, Apple has made some other adjustments to the phone, like the camera system. Now, it wasn't for certain that it's exactly the same as the iPhone 8, but we're pretty sure it's exactly the same as the iPhone 8. It's still a great camera. It's a tiny sensor, no crazy features, no telephoto. It's just a single camera. And the software behind the camera carries it. Now, I instantly noticed there's no night mode natively, so that kind of surprised me. It's still an exclusive feature to the iPhone 11 line, but the front camera can still do portrait mode. Now, by looking at the photos this camera takes, you can tell it's an iPhone. Focus is good, colors are solid, and details are there. Is it a top contender? No. But for the price, come on. It does struggle in low light with the absence of night mode, so keep that in mind, and the video is solid out of the camera. Continuous autofocus, optically stabilized, 4K 30 FPS. It's pretty much good enough for the average person or anything you're gonna push in video. So we've spoken about the design, the camera, the small form factor, but what about the actual phone's display? Well, the iPhone SE is sporting a resolution of 1334 by 750, which places it about 720p resolution. And what else is there to say? It's not a top of the line end display. In a world where pixels, resolutions, and specs are constantly the most important feature, this is clearly not the focus of the iPhone SE. You'll be taking a hit in screen brightness. It's not that bad. Remember, it's a $400 phone. Apple basically future-proofed this phone's performance for the next couple of years by equipping it with the A13 chip. And man, it's fast. It doesn't need to push a high-resolution display, so don't expect any hiccups or stutters. Performance is just great based on this. The SE is going to last a long time for those $400, and you're essentially getting flagship level performance at a fraction of the cost. Let's talk about battery though. At 1800 milliamp hours, this is not a big phone and this is not a big battery, but really and honestly, it's enough. It is enough to go through your entire day. I never had any problems going through the whole day with this phone, and you got a glass back and you got lightning fast charging. So at the end of the day, battery life is not as bad as a lot of people have seemed to make it out. The display and chip are fairly efficient, so power draw isn't as high on a phone like this, which is how you can get away with a battery of this size anyways. And charging capabilities are there. The glass back allows for the wireless charging. There's also the fast charging that can bring the battery from dead to 50% in half an hour. And that's pretty much it. This phone doesn't have any standout features, but everything the phone does have is solid. And at the end of the day, it's an iPhone. And that's probably going to be the top selling point of this phone. Could other companies other than Apple pull something off like this? I don't think so. But everything it does is solid. It's a dated design. The parts bin nature is what allows the phone to be available for $400 in the first place. And it's an iPhone. An iPhone for $400 is enough for a lot of people. And everyone's needs are different. A lot of us are gonna want the highest end flagships with the top end specs and a lot of breakthrough features, but at the end of the day, not everyone needs that. And you can see that in the car industry too. The Toyota Corolla reminds me of this phone. And it's the most popular car, top-end car of all time. It's sold the most units, and why do you think it sold so many units? It's budget-friendly, it gets a job done, just like the iPhone SE. So that's the reason both of these products, if you can call a car a product, are gonna be so popular for such a long time. And 2020 seems to be the year for Apple. They pretty much nailed the budget smartphone. What else can you say? It's been Alex. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.